Hello and welcome to Let's Play Advance Wars. This is video number 2 of field training. We're going to tackle missions 6 through 10. Let's get into it. Mission number 6 is called Tank Ops. Nell says, "This is a chance for you to show me what you've learned. Are you ready?" An entire company doing recon in the Coral Lagoon area has been lost. The Coral Fortress is surrounded by mountains, so it's hard to imagine that there are many enemy units there. Still, an entire company is gone, so... The point is, we can't afford to lose that territory. Time to get going. Mission 6, Tank Ops. Day 1. Nell says, "Medium tanks? Olaf got his hands on some of those too?" That explains what happened to the recon units that vanished. Even with your units, I don't know if we can win. You don't just win battles with a show of force, though. You know that by now, right? I'm going to leave this one up to you. Do you want any strategic hints? For the time being, you can ignore the medium tank. Just be sure you don't move into its attack range. Do you remember how to check a unit's attack range? Move the cursor onto the unit and hold B. Now for your strategy. First, take out the enemy units between the rivers. Try to make the most of your tanks, mech units, and artillery. Then, send some units to secure the neutral cities below you. The river will protect you from all but the enemy's infantry, so don't worry. I'll give you some more strategic hints after you capture those cities. Good luck! Alright, so let's take a look at the map here. I have a decent-sized force on my side, 9 total units, 4 infantry, 2 mechs, a tank, an APC, and an artillery. Olaf has fewer units, but he has a very powerful medium tank. So we're going to have to deal with that medium tank. He's got 2 infantry, 2 mech, an artillery, a tank, and a medium tank. And I forgot to mention it in previous videos, but there is a terrain type here we haven't talked about yet. It is the road. If I move over a road square and press R, I see that the road offers no defensive cover, and it is a movement cost of 1 for all land units as well as air. So it's easy to travel on roads, just like you would imagine. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is... Actually, this tank is sitting on a friendly city, so it's in a good spot to just sit there and sort of be bait for the enemy. Move my other forces up. The infantry I'm going to start sending towards the neutral cities on the southwest corner of the map. Let's talk about Olaf's medium tank real quick. If I put the cursor over it and press R, the description says, "A medium tank's defensive and offensive ratings are the highest of the ground units." A medium tank only moves 5 spaces. Compare that to a tank's 6 spaces, and it does move on treads. So it can effectively move through plains as well as roads and cities. 1 vision in Fog of War. Only 50 units of fuel, so they do run out of fuel quicker than tanks do. And sometimes in battles you will notice that. Its main weapon is a cannon. It's a bigger and more powerful cannon than a tank's cannon, and it has 8 shots. I'm pretty sure in later games they reduced the number of shots that a medium tank can take. I think it gets reduced to like 6, but in the original Advance Wars it's 8. And then its secondary weapon is a machine gun, which it has infinite ammo for. And its machine gun is better than pretty much any other machine gun that's on a vehicle in the game. Alright, let's end the turn. Day 1 for Olaf. He says, "Ha ha ha! I see you failed to notice my new weapons, Nell. You'll soon tremble before the power of the mightiest ground forces ever. Ho ho ho." Olaf moves his tank up to shoot at my tank on the city. My tank is well protected though, and it only takes 4 HP of damage, and inflicts 3 back on Olaf's tank. My tank heals 2 hit points because it's on a friendly city. And I'll go ahead and just blast it with the artillery. Finishes it off in 1 shot. Boom. Down in the southwest, I'm just going to move my infantry in to capture the cities. Go ahead and end the turn. Alright, so I think I can kill this tank purely with the mechs that I have. Let's try shooting at the tank with a mech from the plains here. Boom. Wow. That was a good hit. Reduces the tank down to 3 HP, and my mech is reduced to 9 HP. Move in with the other mech. Destroys Olaf's 2nd tank. I'm going to move in with my tank and shoot at Olaf's artillery. The artillery cannot retaliate because I am in a space directly next to it. With my own artillery, I believe I will shell Olaf's infantry trying to capture the city. Boom! Bombardment. I'm going to move my infantry forward. Move the APC up as well. Finish capturing the first city in the southwest. Next turn, day 3 for Olaf. He withdraws his infantry to go capture a city, leaving his heavily damaged infantry and artillery forward. It's not going to go well for either of those units, let me tell you. I'll finish off the 3 HP infantry with my own mech, handily destroying it. I'll move in onto the city square and capture it with my infantry. Now I face a dilemma. Do I destroy the artillery or land a good hit on this mech in the river with no defensive cover? I think I would prefer to destroy the artillery. So it's going to get removed from the field of battle. Boom. I'm going to move this infantry forward, as well as this one, and then finish capturing the city down here in the southwest. And I'll go ahead and move my infantry up. Move the artillery to this space right here. It's just out of reach of Olaf's mech, and if Olaf tries to move 2 spaces here and attack my infantry on the city, it's going to get shelled. Next turn. Olaf's infantry captures the city. The mech just moves up to my front line and does nothing. Well, you know what? Glad you decided to sacrifice yourself. Maybe we can imagine that he offered terms of surrender. That mech is destroyed. I'm going to capture the remainder of this city right here. And I'm going to move forward with my tank to take some HP off of this infantry. Reduces it to 5. My tank takes no damage in return, and I'll move my own infantry up and finish her off. Alright, so I want to put my APC within range of my mechs because I'm going to transport some of my mechs next turn. Alright, Olaf's got 2 units left, a mech and a heavy tank. The heavy tank is actually going to be pretty hard to kill, so saving up my energy for that. Alright, so Olaf made the grave mistake of putting his mech right next to a city. The city has higher defensive cover, and it's within range of my infantry. So I can just move my infantry onto the city and shoot at the mech and have good defense on the counterattack. Reduces the mech down to 6 and reduces my infantry to 8. Go ahead and move my infantry up, start capturing that city. And I'm going to move my other units. If I put the cursor over the medium tank and press B, I can see its danger range. So as long as I don't put any unit on any of these red tiles, it cannot attack me next turn. So I'll go ahead and put my tank here. He's out of range of the mech as well. We'll put this mech into an APC. I don't want the APC to get shot at, so I'm going to put it here. And the rest of my guys, I'm just going to try to move them as far forward as I can. Actually, I want the artillery to go here and the infantry to go here. Day 6 for Olaf. He just sacrifices his mech without shooting it at anything. Go ahead and just tie off that loose end with a full strength infantry. Alright, so this is where I lay a trap for the for the medium tank. I'm going to intentionally put an APC within range of it. But that's going to be the only unit that's within range of the medium tank. The AI is going to automatically attack the APC because it's the only thing in range, but there's going to be some firepower waiting for him. So I'm going to plant the APC one space to the right of the tank here, like so, and I'll unload the mech, as well as plop down an artillery. Go ahead and move the other mech up as well. Capture the other 2 cities in the center. Now we're ready for the next turn. Olaf's medium tank is going to shoot at the APC, but fingers crossed it won't actually die. I think it might escape getting reduced down to 1 HP. I don't know. Yes, 1 HP. Start capturing the city down here. That actually triggers additional dialogue from Nell. She says, "You've managed to get this far. Now I'll give you some advice for the future. It's not impossible to stop medium tanks with artillery, but it's tough. Instead, try to stop the medium tanks from crossing the river. Then try to capture the enemy HQ. If the tanks do get across, well, like I said, concentrate on the enemy HQ. Capture the HQ or defeat all the enemy troops to win. Good luck." Well, this is actually bad advice from Nell. It's significantly easier in this map to just kill the medium tank than it is to try to bottle it up on the other side of this bridge up here. And in fact, it's going to die this turn. Step 1 is a little softening up with my artillery. Boom! Bombardment. Reduces it down to 6. Now I'm going to hit it with my... Actually, I'm not going to kill it this turn, but I'm going to get it pretty close to killed. Take a shot at it with my light tank. It reduces it down to 4 HP, reduces my tank down to 8. We'll move the APC back onto a city to heal up. Then I'll move in with my mech here. This might take off 2 HP. Boom! Actually, if I put this 9 mech right next to the tank on the river here, it might kill it. It might. Fingers crossed. No, not quite. Medium tank is now at 1 HP. It can't go anywhere. It's gonna die if it tries to shoot at any of these 3 units, so it is completely out of play. So I should win next turn. Day 8 for Olaf. He elects to just do nothing with the medium tank. Now, which unit should get the honor of killing the medium tank? Why don't we have the light tank do it? Boom. Wasted. The battle is over. Nell says, "Honestly, I thought you were done for this time, but you did it. But now that Olaf has medium tanks, our current tactics won't suffice. I'll have to ask Central Command to send us some too. Keep up the good work." Olaf says, "What? Even my medium tanks were defeated? That Nell? But it doesn't look like she has any medium tanks ready to use. Ha ha ha. I'm sure I'll enjoy our next encounter. Ho ho ho." Nice work, Sode Runs. You won. Earned myself an A, just barely. Notice how the speed bar is not at 100% on the score screen. If I had taken a day or 2 longer to finish the mission, I think it would have been a B. Alright, mission 7 is called Copter Tactics. Nell says, "It's time to introduce air units. It appears that we have a problem. Orange Star has hit a snag in its medium tank development program. On the other hand, Blue Moon seems to have more than enough tanks. I think it's safe to assume that they have mass production capabilities. I pulled some strings and had some B-copters and T-copters sent down from the front lines. But that doesn't give you all that much more firepower. Nevertheless, let's make good use of them. I'll give you more details once we reach the staging area. Let's move out." Mission 7, Copter Tactics. Day 1. Olaf is one shrewd guy. Look at all the units he's deployed. He's always one step ahead of us. I didn't think he'd have any air units. I guess I underestimated him again. But, as I suspected, he has deployed a number of medium tanks. A frontal attack would be reckless. As always, we need to defeat all enemy units or capture their HQ. But looking at all of Olaf's units, I think we have only one true option. We must capture the enemy HQ. First, can you select this infantry unit? The enemy HQ is right below you. But infantry units can't cross seas. It might be possible to march there, but with all those enemies... This is where transport copters come in handy. Do you remember APCs? Like APCs, transport copters can carry infantry and mech units. But also like APCs, they have no weapons and can't fire. Okay, go ahead and load a unit onto your transport copter. So I'm going to move the infantry directly onto the transport copter, and then the load command comes up in the context menu. Now he's loaded inside. Nell says, "Good, you loaded your troops. Now select the transport copter." Now, look where it can move. That's right. Transport copters can move overseas. Plus, the movement cost is the same over all terrain types. Okay, let's move it down here. Now drop the infantry. So I select drop from the context menu, and I only have the option of dropping it on the space to the right. This is the only place you can drop troops now. Do you know why? Infantry can't move on the ocean. You can only drop infantry on terrain they can move across. Don't forget that. You should check to see on which terrain you can drop infantry. You remember how to check terrain, right? Move the cursor onto the terrain and press R to check it. Give it a try. Okay, now let's test the Battlecopter's capabilities. Select it. The Battlecopter is an air unit, just like the Transport Copter. This means terrain doesn't affect its movement range. Air units aren't affected by terrain bonuses either, which makes sense since they're always flying. As for attack power, well, you should check it out for yourself. This tank is in the perfect spot. Test your Battlecopter. Fire! So I'm going to move the Battlecopter next to the tank. It's a direct combat unit, and I'm going to fire on the tank. Boom! Reduces the tank to 4 HP. Nell says, aren't they powerful? Battlecopters are even effective versus tanks. Plus, with their superior movement capabilities, they're easy to deploy. Now let me tell you a little more about your new copter units. As you know, they're both air units. All the other units you've used up to this point have been ground units. Since air units are always flying, they use fuel every day. The battle and transport copters use 2 units of fuel per day. Don't worry about remembering that exact number, though. Just keep in mind that they burn fuel every day. Now you know all you need to know about these new units, right? I'm leaving the rest up to you. Do you want some strategic advice? Pay careful attention to the enemy battlecopters and medium tanks. All we have that can go toe-to-toe with them are our own battlecopters, so play it safe and keep them out of attack range until necessary. Other than that, don't forget to capture the enemy HQ. Tomorrow. I'm sure Olaf hasn't considered the possibility that it could be captured early on. Good luck! Alright, so before we continue, let's do a little bit of map analysis here. There is a new type of terrain on this map that we haven't seen yet, and that is the sea or ocean tile. If I press R on an ocean tile, I see that it has 0 defensive cover, and only 3 types of units can move across the sea. Ships, transport ships, which we haven't seen yet, and air units. So no ground unit can move across seas in any circumstance. Completely blocks land unit movement, obviously. It's an ocean. You can't drive a tank on an ocean. And we'll go ahead and analyze the attack copter here. Press R. B, or battlecopters, I called it an attack copter, but that's the same thing. Battlecopters can fire on many unit types, so they're invaluable. It can move 6 spaces like a tank. Its movement type is air, and air units can move across any terrain type in the game. In Advance Wars 2, there's a terrain type that it can't move across, but in Advance Wars 1, air units can move anywhere on the map. Its vision is pretty good, 3, so battlecopters are pretty good for scouting in Fog of War. They have 99 fuel, and they use 2 units per day. Their primary weapon is missiles. These can be considered air-to-air missiles or air-to-ground missiles. Actually, that's not right. The missiles only attack ground units, and if a copter attacks an air unit, it uses the machine gun. So these are like air-to-ground helicopter missiles. It has 6 turns worth of firing on the missiles. Secondary weapon is a pretty powerful machine gun. And like I said, the machine gun is used against air units. Alright. And might as well look at the transport copter as well. Transport copter units have good movement range and can carry foot soldiers. So they move 6 spaces, like the other helicopter. They have 2 vision, 99 fuel, no weapons. So it's basically like a flying APC. It's important to remember, though, that unlike the APC, the transport copter cannot resupply any other units. It is purely a transport. Alright, so going back to the battle here, I'm going to move my artillery and my tank back. And we're going to... I'm going to try to lure the enemy into shooting at the APC first. Next turn. Olaf says, "Ha ha ha! I see Nell hasn't deployed any medium tanks. Go, my troops! This time nothing can stand in the way of our victory! Ho ho ho!" Or can it? Olaf shoots at my mech with his tank and does 5 HP of damage to it. He takes his damage tank and shoots at my APC, doing 3 HP of damage to the APC. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start capturing the enemy HQ. It has 20 capture points, so I need to wait 2 days. I would like to block these medium tanks from getting close to my infantry, which is trying to storm the HQ. So I'm going to go ahead and just move my T-copter directly in their way. Now they can't move past the T-copter. There's a dangerous situation here. Olaf's attack copter is within shooting range of my own attack copter. I do not want him to shoot at my copter first, so I will take the first shot. Watch how the battlecopter shoots at the other one with machine guns. Pew pew pew. Reduces his battlecopter down to 3 HP and reduces mine down to 8. Back over here in the northwest, I'm going to shell the 8 hit point tank. Fingers crossed that it kills it. Boom! I'm gonna move my APC back to safety. Move up my mech. Blast away at Olaf's other tank, destroying it. I'm gonna pull this mech back to the friendly city and plop an infantry onto the city. This medium tank is probably gonna shoot at the infantry, maybe? I'm not sure, but either way, it's going to get shelled next turn. But in this battle, we're not going to defeat all the enemy units. It's not really possible. Maybe if you're like a pro, but that's not me. Olaf's day 2. He moves his attack copter over to mine and shoots at it, taking off 3 HP. Moves his medium tank to my transport copter and shoots at it, reducing it down to 2 HP. Oh, that's interesting. He moves his medium tank over to my B-copter, shoots at it, takes off 1 HP, and is dealt 1 damage in return. He moves his medium tank up to my mech, shoots at it, almost kills my mech, but not quite. Alright, I'm going to shell Olaf's medium tank with my artillery. Boom! Bombardment. Takes off 4 HP. I'm going to take my B-copter, move it over, and finish off Olaf's 3 HP battlecopter. I need to be consistent with what I call these units. I'm going to start calling it a battlecopter and a transport copter consistently. Can I kill anything else? I'm actually not going to fire on any more of Olaf's units, because I'm going to simply capture his HQ and win the mission. Nell says, I kind of wondered about this before, but Olaf typically makes terrible use of his units. It doesn't matter how good your units are if you don't know how to use them. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit more about those new air units. Even if you land them on allied cities and HQs, they won't recover HP or be supplied. You haven't seen any yet, but you can only resupply air units at airports. If they run low on fuel or ammo, you can restock them with an APC, just like land units. Now, keep up the good work. Olaf says, What in the... My HQ has been stormed? Nell, you troublesome little... You saw that you couldn't survive a frontal assault, and so you pull this out of your hat? Grrr. This isn't over yet. Ho ho ho. Way to go, Sodruns. You won. And I got an A. Alright. Mission 8 is called Air Assault. Sounds pretty fun. This mission deals with air units, fuel consumption, and anti-air defenses. Good news! Orange Star's medium tank development team has succeeded. Plus, you've also been given some new and improved anti-airs. Now let's discuss the current operations, Sodruns. An entire company has disappeared on its way to the front lines. It was made up of mostly medium tanks and tanks, so this is serious. It may mean that they ran into an air squadron, complete with bomb. No, that's not possible. Forget it, it's nothing. I'm sure I'm just reading too much into the situation. Well, time to get moving. Mission 8, Air Assault. Day 1. Okay, so this field training mission is a little strange because Olaf gets to move first. He says, Ha ha ha! Nell, mobilizing your troops again, are you? Well, you're too late. Fly, my masters of the sky. Finish off these surviving troops, then destroy that meddlesome Nell's units. Olaf brings up a fighter jet to shoot at my battlecopter, destroying it in one hit. Olaf brings up a bomber to shoot at my medium tank, killing it also in one hit. Olaf brings up a battlecopter to shoot at my 4 hit point tank, destroying it in one hit. Nell says, I see my fears were well founded. He's got bombers, and fighters too. This is bad. All of our units that were deployed here have been decimated. If we don't stop Olaf here, he'll push onward and cause even more damage. This is a major turning point. We must be strong. First, let me tell you about a new unit which has been assigned to you. You've seen plenty of medium tanks, so you know how to use them, right? Against other ground units, they're practically unstoppable. But, as you've just seen, they're helpless against bombers. Okay, now let's look at the anti-air unit. Let's see what it can do. Select this one, please. This battlecopter is in the perfect spot. Attack it. So I'm going to move the anti-air up directly next to the battlecopter since it's a direct combat unit. And fire. My anti-air destroys Olaf's battlecopter in one hit. Nell says, that's what anti-air units can do. You can see how overwhelmingly powerful they are against air units. Plus, against ground units, mech and infantry in particular, they're more effective than tanks. However, tanks will defeat them in head-to-head combat. Now that you understand anti-air units, I'll let you take command. Do you want some strategic advice? Watch out for fighters, bombers, battlecopters, and medium tanks. It appears the fighters and bombers don't have much fuel or ammunition. I was nervous at first, but we may get through this after all. With air units, you have to watch how much fuel they have. I already told you that copters use 2 fuel per day. The other air units, fighters and bombers, use 5 per day. If they run out, they crash, and the units are lost. Try to make the most of this intel. Let's talk more on strategy after the bombers and fighters are gone. Good luck! Alright, so let's take a look around the map here. Any new terrain? We do have some reefs out here in the ocean. So if I put the cursor over a reef and press R, I see that a reef has 1 defensive star, so 10% damage reduction. And the only units that can move across reefs are ships and transport ships. The terrain cost for both of those is 2, so reefs will slow down naval units. And air units can move on top of reefs as well, but they don't get any defensive bonus. Let's take a gander at the anti-air. Press R. Anti-air units work well against foot soldiers and air units. They're weak against tanks. So it moves on treads, and it has a range of 6 spaces, similar to a tank. It has 2 vision in Fog of War, which is okay, not great. It has 60 fuel points. It has a primary weapon, a Vulcan gun, which is just a extremely heavy machine gun, essentially. Or I guess you could say a automatic cannon. And it has 9 shots of its Vulcan before it's out of ammo. Alright. And we've also got a bomber and a fighter on the field, so let's analyze those. Putting the cursor over the bomber and pressing R. Bomber units can fire on ground and naval units. Their movement range is high. So the bomber is extremely powerful. It can move 7 spaces, and its movement type is air. So no terrain penalties for movement, can fly anywhere it wants. Its vision is 2, which is okay. It has 99 fuel, and it uses it at 5 per day. And it has 9 bombs before it's out of bomb ammo. Let's look at the fighter jet. Fighter units can engage other air units. Their movement range is the highest of all units. So a fighter jet's movement range is 9, and its movement type is air. So fighter jets can fly all over the map very quickly. Their vision is 2, they have 99 fuel, and their primary weapon is an air-to-air missile, and it can only fire on copters and planes. Cannot harm any other types of units. Alright, let's continue, shall we? Oh, real quick. Looking at the fighter and the bomber, they are not going to have enough fuel to reach me, I don't believe. So I'm just going to kind of ignore them. I'll move up my medium tank, my artillery, my tank. We'll load a mech unit into an APC, move it up. We'll go ahead and move an infantry into a transport copter, move the transport copter up, move my battle copter up, and then move the rest of my infantry forward. End the turn. Olaf starts capturing 2 of my cities with his infantry. The fighter jet and the bomber fly towards me, but they are not going to make it. They're going to run out of fuel first. Yep, both of the units are at 0 fuel and 1 fuel, respectively. So at the very beginning of Olaf's next turn, they will crash and be lost. Alright, I gotta be careful about this battle copter, because if I move my own units into range, it could get damaged. I'll go ahead and just move up my tank, rather my medium tank, my artillery, my tank, battlecopter, APC, transport copter, and the rest of my infantry. Move them all up. Day 3 for Olaf. His fighter and bomber both crash due to running out of fuel. Bad planning, Olaf, am I right? Olaf captures both of my cities. He moves both of his tanks up, and those tanks are not going to have a fun time with my forces. Nell says, okay, now time for more strategy. First, the battlecopters. The simplest thing to do is to use your infantry as decoys. Use them to draw the copters towards your anti-air units and attack. If you can take out the battlecopters like that, the fight is yours. As for medium tanks, try to trap them and pound away with your artillery. Once that's accomplished, you'll be in complete control. If your air units look low on fuel, you can resupply them with an APC. I told you that already, didn't I? Well, anyway, the rest is up to you. Good luck! Alright, I'm going to take my artillery and shoot at the rear Olaf tank, reducing it to 3 HP. Then I'm going to shoot at the forward Olaf tank with my medium tank, reducing it to 1 HP. I can fly my battlecopter forward without fear and start shooting at this infantry here, reducing it to 5. I can't quite move my tank up because I don't want the battlecopter to shoot at it. Move the rest of my guys up. End the turn. Day 4 for Olaf. He joins his 2 tanks together, so now he has 1 tank with an HP of 4. I'll go ahead and just kill it with artillery. Boom! Bombardment. I can finish off the 7 HP infantry with my medium tank. And similar to what Nell said, you can use your units. You know, as we've seen, you can kind of sacrifice a unit to prompt the AI to attack it. So I'm going to do that with my APC. I don't actually want any infantry to get hurt. I would rather just have the APC take a couple of HP of damage. Move my battlecopter to the south to shoot at a mech, reducing it down to 2. Then I'll move my AA up. Move the rest of my guys up. Olaf's capping more properties in the south. He brings up his battlecopter to shoot at my APC, reducing it to 4 HP. Now I can bring my AA up and completely destroy his battlecopter. I'm going to take my battlecopter and I'm going to start messing around with his infantry a little bit. Slap him around a little bit, you know. Reduce his mech down to 2. Start moving my medium tank, my artillery, and my regular tank up. Go ahead and move up the APC too. I just gotta be careful not to let it get shot at due to its low hit points. I'll bring up some infantry and start recapturing some cities. End the turn. Day 6 for Olaf. Finish capturing this blue city. I will go ahead and severely damage his infantry with my battlecopter. And then polish him off with a medium tank. I'll bring up my tank and finish off his 2 hit point mech. Move my artillery as far forward as it'll go. Now Olaf has a medium tank, an artillery, and a 2 hit point mech. Start bringing the anti-air up a little bit too. Day 7 for Olaf. He's not doing a whole lot. So to defeat his medium tank, I'm gonna have to lure it, lure it out into the spot where I can shoot at it. I think I'm gonna use a mech as my lure. There will be casualties, I'm afraid to say. Alright, so I have my artillery set up here, and the artillery's fire range is like this. Oh, man. Actually, I need to use... No, I can use the mech here. Yep. That'll be my lure. I'll just move everything else up. So Olaf should go onto his own city here and shoot at my mech, hopefully not destroying it in one hit. And then I will pound away with my artillery, my medium tank, my regular tank, and my battlecopter. There he goes. Fingers crossed that it stays alive. Yep. Reduces my mech down to 1 hit point. It's kind of sad. But now I have sprung the trap. Bombardment. Boom! Reduces the medium tank down to 7. I'm gonna move my wounded mech back and shoot at Olaf's 7 hit point medium tank with my own medium tank, reducing it down to 2. Mine is undamaged. Then I will... Can I finish it off with the light tank? I think so. Boom! Olaf's medium tank is down. Then I'm gonna rush my... copter in. Battlecopter. Pound away at his artillery, which is sitting on his HQ. His HQ has a defensive rating of 4 stars, which is a 40% defense bonus. Bringing my AA to shoot at the artillery, reduces it down to 2. So next turn will be the end for Olaf. And drop some infantry nearby just for fun. Day 10 for Olaf. He could shoot at my tank, but he chose to just kind of accept his fate. Let's let the battlecopter take the final shot here. Boom! Nell says, well, we've learned that Olaf has readied his bombers and fighters. The fact that he had no clue about keeping them supplied saved us. Good luck in the next battle. Keep up the good work. Olaf says, we forgot to refill the fuel tanks? What are you fools thinking? Is it that hard to refuel an aircraft? Ah! Just wait until next time. Ho ho ho! You did well, Sodruns. Oh, I still got an A. I think one day slower and I would have gotten a B. By the way, not sure if I mentioned it before, but in field training, the highest rank is A. You can't get S. The next mission, I believe mission 8, is called Air Defense. No, is it 8 or 9? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is mission number 9. It's called Air Defense. Rockets and missiles are included in this briefing on indirect combat units. My superiors have really been dropping the ball lately. The enemy already has fighters and bombers, but appears that we don't. But I did arrange to have some experimental missiles assigned to you. And I also got you some rockets. With all you've done, Sodruns, it's the least they could do. It seems that the enemy already has superior units deployed. I apologize. Anyway, it's time to move out. Mission 9, Air Defense. Day 1. Nell says, you've assembled a pretty well-balanced army. It looks like the enemy bombers have plenty of fuel and ammunition this time. If you don't take them out, they'll do lots of damage to your units. But since they're across the sea, you can't easily attack them. This is where missiles come in handy. Let's see what they can do. Select this unit. Missiles can fire on air units from a distance. Units that are 3 to 5 spaces away fall within their range. Press the A button to open the command menu. So, similar to artillery, missiles cannot fire and shoot in the same turn. So if you want to shoot them this turn, you have to select the space that they're already sitting on. The context menu comes up, and I select Fire, and take aim at Olaf's bomber. Pew pew pew. Boom. Destroyed in one hit. See? Missiles can even take out bombers. Since they don't engage directly like anti-air units, they don't take counterattack damage. However, they can't fire right after moving. Your main focus is to draw units within their attack range. It's smart to use them in conjunction with anti-air units. Now, let's test our rockets. Select this unit. Similar to the artillery and the missiles, the rockets are an indirect combat unit. They can't move and shoot in the same turn, and you have to select the space that they're already sitting on if you want to shoot them. Rockets are basically souped-up artillery. They have the same attack range as missiles, 3 to 5 spaces. Now open the command menu. Alright, so I have a choice of shooting at Olaf's tank or his medium tank. Let's go after the medium tank. Boom. Reduced to 3 HP. Nell says, that's good. They don't do as much damage as missiles, but it's not too shabby. The greatest advantage of indirect combat units is that they don't take counterattack damage. But as with artillery, they take heavy damage from direct attacks, so you have to protect them. One more thing about missiles and rockets. Their movement is classified as tire movement. This is similar to tread movement, but the difference is clear on flat terrain. Select terrain or a unit and press the R button for more details. I'm going to leave the rest up to you. Do you want any strategic advice? First, try to take out as many enemy units as you can with your anti-air units and your missiles. If you surround your missiles and rockets to protect them, the enemy will move in to attack. If you can take the units around the HQ with your rockets, the battle will be yours. You can send troops into the HQ by transport copter, or surround the HQ and slowly work your way in. Do it however you like. Good luck! Let's take a look around the map here. It's a really oddly shaped map. We've got an inland sea with two big islands sort of facing off. Alright, let's get some intel on the missiles first. Missile units are essential in defending against air units. Their vision range is large. Alright, so missiles have very poor movement. They can only move 4 spaces, and their movement type is tires. Remember that, because I'm going to do some terrain intel in a second. So they can move 4 spaces, and they move on tires. They have excellent vision, 5 spaces. So if you happen to have these in Fog of War, they will provide a lot of vision. Only 50 fuel, and their primary weapons are surface-to-air missiles, which they have 6 shots of. And they can fire on helicopters and planes. Taking a look at the rockets. Rocket units are valuable because they can fire on both land and naval units. So the rockets can move 1 space farther than the missiles. They can move 5, but they also move on tires. They only have vision of 1 space, which is terrible. And they have a limited amount of fuel, only 50. Their primary weapon is a surface-to-surface missile, and they have 6 shots. They can shoot at infantry, vehicles, ships, and submarines. Alright, so let's do a little terrain intel real quick. I'm going to select a road and press R. And we see here that all movement types, infantry, tires, and treads have 1 movement cost on roads. Roads are easy to traverse across. Let's look at planes. So planes have 1 movement cost for treads, but they have 2 movement costs for tires. So that means that the missiles and rockets can only move 2 or 3 spaces, no, only 2 spaces across planes, which really slows them down. Looking at forest, the tire cost is 3. So forest will slow these things to a crawl. Alright, I think that's it for map intel. Why don't we continue with this battle here? Alright, so I want to protect my rockets and my missiles from this bomber here. So I am going to keep my battlecopter in harm's way. I think this battlecopter down here is going to come in and shoot at it. I'll have an anti-air waiting for him. And then Olaf is also going to have land units coming in on the highway that circles the map. I'm going to have some land forces waiting. Alright, next turn. Olaf takes aim at my infantry with his bomber. Destroys it in 1 hit. Flies his helicopter in to shoot at my infantry on the bridge, taking them down to 2 HP. Flies his other helicopter in. And he's moving his land units up. Well, I gotta say, Olaf putting his bomber here was a poor tactical move because it is in range of my missiles. Pew pew pew. Boom. Shot down in 1 hit. He also parked his battlecopter directly next to my anti-air. So, why don't we slap that battlecopter around a little bit. Boom. Destroyed in one hit. And to deal with his other helicopter, I'm just going to use my battlecopter, like so. Boom! Reduces it down to 3 HP. I'll take my rocket and... yeah, I'll shoot at the full health medium tank. Boom! Reduce it down to 4 HP. I wonder if I can chip away at this 3 HP battlecopter with my infantry. Yep, reduced him down to 2. And reduce him down to 1. I'll go ahead and just box him in with my transport copter here. Alright, next turn. Olaf's moving his, he moved his tank up. He took his 1 HP battlecopter and shot at my transport copter, reducing it to 9 HP. Olaf's 4 HP medium tank comes in and shoots at my APC, reducing it to 6. Alright, I'm going to take aim with my rockets. Finish off Olaf's medium tank. And I'll come in with my battlecopter and shoot at his tank on his HQ island. Reduces his tank down to 6, and my battlecopter takes a little bit of counterattack damage. And I can just... That's more fun to use the missiles. My full health missiles shoot at Olaf's 1 HP battlecopter, and it does not go well for the battlecopter. Alright. Over here in the west, I'm going to use my artillery to finish off the medium tank. Bombardment. Destroyed. I'll move my medium tank up. Always better to shoot at the enemy unit from better terrain. The plane is better than the road, so I choose the plane. Boom! Reduce it down to 1 HP. And I'll move up my full health tank to finish off Olaf's 1 HP tank. Alright, I think we're doing good. Day 3 for Olaf. He's bringing his infantry around the north, but it's not going to do much for him. He shoots at my transport copter with his 6 HP tank. Let's go ahead and take aim with the rockets and polish off that tank. Boom! Now I can unload my mech and start capturing his HQ. Take my medium tank and start blasting away at his infantry in the north. Bring up my artillery as well. Take the anti-air over that way too, since it's very effective against infantry. I'll bring my battlecopter around and shoot at his mech on the bridge, reducing it down to 4. And that's going to be the end of the turn. Olaf captures a city. Not that it's going to do him very much good. I'll start capping his HQ. Take my rockets and shoot at his mech on the road. It might kill it in one hit. No, reduce it down to 1. Shoot at his 4 HP mech with my battlecopter. Pew pew pew. Use my artillery on his 3 HP infantry on the city, destroying it. Shoot at his infantry with my medium tank. And finish off his mech with my tank. So my rockets have fired off 5 of their 6 salvos. So, by the way, here's the range of the rockets. 3 to 5 spaces. And the missiles is the same. So we'll let the rockets have the honor of finishing off this battle by firing at this 5 HP infantry. Boom! Wasted. Nell says, "Well done. Keep up the good work." Olaf says, "Ah! I never had a chance this time. Nell! Just wait till next time. Ho ho ho!" The victory goes to Sodruns. And I got an A. Field Training Mission 10 is called Dogfights. Nell says, "I wonder how fast you can clear this air and indirect combat unit section." Hey, more good news. We finally got bombers and fighters ready to go. 3 units each. You've only got them for this mission, but it seems Olaf's troops have appeared on the far shore. Your job is to get over there and take them all out in one fell swoop. Let's get moving. Mission 10, Dogfights. Day 1. Nell says, "Apparently we're just in time. We were able to prepare our troops before Olaf's troops came ashore. So all we need to do now is attack. It's always smart to check your data. You know which units can attack which units, right? If you forget, just check the unit's data. You know to move the cursor to the unit and press the R button to check its data, right? Okay, good luck." Alright, nice short intro from Nell there. So let's take a look at this map. It's a pretty interesting map. There is a narrow diagonal strip of ocean or sea protecting, or dividing, the 2 sides of the map. Olaf has pretty decent ground army with some aircraft, whereas my side is mostly aircraft. I also have a rocket unit and a missile unit, and some infantry. There's a new type of terrain on this map we haven't seen before, and that is the shoal, or beach. If I press R on it, I see that the beach has 0 terrain stars, so no defensive cover. Its movement cost for all land units is 1. Same for air units, obviously. And interestingly, transport ships can also move across beaches with a cost of 1. We haven't had transport ships, also known as landers, explained to us yet, but there is one on this map. It's right here. So I'm going to hold off on analyzing it until it actually gets explained to us by Nell. And without further ado, we're going to start this battle. I'm going to take my rockets, select the tile that it's already sitting on, and fire it at Olaf's medium tank. Boom! Reduces it to 5 HP. Olaf has 2 fighter jets, both of which are in range of my missiles. So I'll go ahead and blast one of them. Boom, shoots it down in 1 hit. So now there are 2 pretty dangerous units on Olaf's side remaining on the board here. His missile unit is here, and its attack range is highlighted in red. And Olaf has a fighter jet remaining. Now the fighter jet is, okay, it looks like I can actually hit it from 2 directions without exposing myself to missile fire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my first fighter, move it in and shoot down Olaf's transport copter, like so. Boom. Check the missile's firing range again. Then I'll go ahead and move my fighter behind his fighter inside of the inner radius where his missiles can't hit me. Little fighter on fighter dogfight there. Reduces his down to 5 and reduces mine to 8. And I'm going to take my third fighter, move it in, finish off his fighter. Boom. Destroyed. So now Olaf has no fighters left. He still has this missile unit, which I have to be careful about. But I'm going to go ahead and move in my bomber here, shoot at his missile. Takes it down to 3 HP. And we'll go ahead and move in the other bomber. Completely destroy his missile unit. Now Olaf has no air defense whatsoever. Now it's going to become what we call a turkey shoot. My air units are just going to go hog wild, blasting anything and everything they can. It's going to be glorious. Fly my attack copter. Attack copter, yeah. My battle copter in to shoot at his lander. It's not really going to do that much damage. Takes it down to 8 HP. Bring in the other battle copter to shoot at his lander. His copter can shoot at mine, so maybe doing that wasn't the best idea, but it's not going to kill it at least. Now I'm just going to load my infantry into my transport copter to keep it safe from getting hit by the bomber. His bomber is going to try to shoot at my missile or my rocket, but it's not going to destroy it. Olaf's turn. Olaf says, "What's this? They found my landing forces? Ah, there's no way around it. We'll have to make do with what we've got. Ho ho ho." Flies his bomber in to try to kill my rockets. Reduces my rockets down to 3. Flies his other bombers west uselessly. Flies his battlecopter in, shoots at my battlecopter, reducing it to 3. The other battlecopter cannot get within range of a target. Alright, Olaf, I want to say thank you for placing your bomber within range of my missiles, so I'm going to have some fun with that. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Boom, boom, boom. Shoots down a bomber in 1 hit. I'll go ahead and polish off his other bombers with my 2 fully healthed fighter jets. Shoots it down in 1 hit. Shoots down his other bomber in 1 hit, I'm assuming. Boom. And I'll go ahead and take my battlecopter and shoot at his full health one, reducing it to 3 and reducing mine to 9. Now I have a fighter jet that I can use to shoot at his 9 HP battlecopter. Destroys it. And then my 3 HP battlecopter I'll just pull back. I'll take my 5 HP rockets and shoot at his lander. Boom. Almost destroys it. And now it's going to be Bomber Palooza. Bomber versus medium tank on the road. Destroys it in one hit. Bomber versus infantry on road. Should be one hit. Boom! And bomber versus other infantry on road. Shabooms! Destroyed in one hit. And just for laughs, I'll fly my infantry over and start capping his HQ. Day 2 for Olaf. The only thing he can do is fly his grievously wounded battlecopter in to try to kill my rocket. Unsuccessfully. I'll take my 8 HP fighter and shoot at his 3 HP battlecopter. Shabooms! My 5 HP rocket will finish off his lander. And then last but certainly not least, I'll start capping the HQ and destroy with extreme prejudice Olaf's transport copter with my fighter jet. Shot down in one hit. Nell says, "What? You cleared this map in 3 days? Incredible! I'm very impressed that you've developed your skills so much. Keep up the good work." Olaf says, "Ah! How could my landing forces be defeated? Now I'm in trouble. Just wait till next time. Ho ho ho." Very well done, Sodruns. And I get an A. Where's my S rank? Alright, 10 field training missions down. That's gonna wrap it up. Peace.